Hi and welcome to my channel. Now today I'm reviewing a speaker select switch box. Quite popular on my channel, the old speaker select switch boxes. This one's a little bit different from the two previous ones. This one allows you to have two amplifier into the box and four speakers out. There's four pairs of speakers on the outputs. Where one I've previously done, I'll put a link at the top now if you want to go and have a look at this one, because it actually shows you some wiring, actually show you how it's all wired up and everything with this particular unit. I'm not going to show you one here, but go and have a look at this box, you have an idea of how to wire up a select switch box. This has just got one amplifier in and four sets of speakers out in pairs. You can wire up, I do show you on that video actually how to wire two amplifiers in and one set of speakers out. Not the way it's actually intended to do, but you can do it that way. Just got to be a little bit careful when you rock these switches, when you turn them on and off. But this is quite a well made one. Got the same kind of connections as this has got, these plastic kind of like push-in spring loaded connections, which I'm not a great fan of. They're okay, you know what I mean, they're okay. So if we go back up to this other switch box here, it is lighter than this box, even though technically it's slightly bigger, but it is lighter, it's about 2/3. That's probably due to this being a plastic case compared to that being a metal case. So we just have a little look at it first of all. Here's the front where you've got your switch here for your two different amplifiers you want to connect up and your four sets of stereo speakers there on them switches. We look at the top, this is where you connect your speakers, your four sets of speakers, you know, four stereo speakers. At the top of these spring loaded clips, we'll show you a picture of that in a minute, and also the back here is where you connect amplifier 2 and amplifier 1. They're the inputs, well I say the inputs, that's where the amplifier goes, probably the wrong word in there. Okay, so if I just quickly show you a couple of pictures here. This is a picture of the wire. This is the kind of, you can pull the sleeving back on. This is quad 79 wire, which fits in here nice and tight, just about fits in, but it fits in perfectly. I've cut it back 1 centimetre, and if you cut it back 1 centimetre, it fits in there quite nicely, as you can see there, with these spring clips. So once you've got it all connected up, etc., like say your two amplifiers, I'm not too sure what you'd actually be using one of these boxes for myself. It's going to come in handy for me for when I connect up two amplifiers, something like that, and I'm going to have a few sets of speakers. I can quickly flick through between amplifiers and speakers and get an idea how one sounds against another. But if you've come over here for one of these boxes, obviously you've got your own use for it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you what's inside in a second, but what I want to say is that I've tested this really, tested this out for you if you're thinking about buying one of these. And the reason I wanted to give it a good test is that you've got two amplifiers in. There's no way that you want to get both amplifiers connected at the same time to the same set of speakers. You don't want them amplifiers connecting up with each other. The output of them amplifiers suddenly getting in contact with the amplifier A getting in contact with amplifier B. You don't want that happening because you could probably cause some damage to the amplifier. So this has got to be spot on. And I've done some rigorous testing, and I can say this particular unit I've got here, there's no way it interferes. When you select amplifier, say 1 for instance, that is all by itself. Even the neutral, even the negative on there is not connected in that circuit, where some boxes may have them all connected, like a general like negative all connected, and you're just switching the positives on the speakers. That's not the case here. So that is, when you just connect up one amplifier compared to the other one, them two amplifiers are not connected, negative to negative kind of thing on the output. So that's very important. We don't want any, like I say, any like little bits of just connecting up for a microsecond or something when you flick from one to the other or anything like that. This, once you push A, it is only amplifier A. Amplifier 2 gets disconnected before amplifier A gets connected, or amplifier 1. So if we go amplifier 1 and 2, when you press number 1, amplifier 1 is connected and 2's already been disconnected before it actually gets connected to amplifier 1. It's just that slight gap in the switch. I think you know what I mean. So there's no chance of two of them being connected at the same time. As I say, all the negatives are connected, so the negatives from the output speakers and the amplifier are connected inside via the speakers, but only per amplifier. So like I say, number 1 is and number 2 is separately. So it's no chance of both amplifiers being connected at any point, negative, positive, anything like that. They're not going to be connected whatsoever. So that's one good thing, there's kind of like safety in mind. We don't want to blow our amplifier up. So this is quite safe to use, obviously as long as you wire it up correctly. So so for instance, we use amplifier 1, then obviously you've got your set, you can pick set speakers 1, 2, 3 or 4, get them going. Now you can put 2 switches in at once like so you could have 2 sets of speakers going off one amplifier, but be careful, check the impedance of the speakers what your amplifier can handle, because obviously if you've got two 8 ohm speakers, 2 sets, that theoretically you're running 4 ohm speakers. So just be a bit careful there. So maybe if you don't know what you're doing or you're not too sure, just make sure you just select one set of speakers at a time. And these, like I say, disengage. There's no chance of 2 sets of speakers being on as well. You know, it's quite well wired up inside to a certain extent. If we actually have a little look inside, there you can see inside. I took the top off, or the back off, should I say, the bottom off, whatever you want to call it. There's the circuit board. We'll just take the circuit board out. The wires are fairly thin in here. I think they're just a slightly thinner than the wires in this particular unit here. So I'm guessing that the thickness of the wires is a little bit of a guess, to be honest with you, something like that. I would have said this is probably going to be rated at about 50 or 60 watts, somewhere around there. They're quite thin wires in there. Unless if you've got your amplifier full on, you're going to have your amplifier, a 50 watt amplifier full on. If you're not going to turn it up about halfway or something like that or whatever, you may get away with maybe running a 100 watt amp with one of these and having it at halfway or just under halfway or something like that continuously. You're probably going to be all right. But yeah, this isn't top of the range. This is quite cheap. They're about 20, 22 pounds a buy. So you're buying something quite cheap. And it says at the front here, New Star, Tokyo, Japan. And I'm probably guessing this is New Star, made in China. So yeah, so it's fairly cheap. If you want to get a decent kind of select switch box, you're probably going to pay 100, 150 pounds, something like that. You're going to have the screw terminals and all that. But if you just want something simple, something cheap, and you know, you just want to run some little amplifiers, little bits and pieces like that, nothing too expensive, it's probably going to do you okay. Like, you know, you're probably going to be okay. But quality wise, I still prefer this one. You know, if I had a choice and I only wanted to put one amplifier to some sets of speakers, I'd probably go with this one. Then again, like I say, you know, it's okay, it's not too bad. But if you've got some really high-end gear or anything like that, you won't be touching that at all. But if you've got, like I say, something like kind of budgety, something I kind of deal with in this channel, this is going to work fine. You know what I mean? This is going to be okay. I must admit, I put it up a few different speakers, a few different things, and swapping about and everything. I did, taking this out of the equation, then put it in the equation. I don't think I heard any difference in the sound quality. Like I say, this is the kind of stuff that I'm dealing in. It is hard to go between one and the other and get something absolutely minute that may be just slightly different or something like that, obviously. But from what I could tell, when I put certain tracks on that I know, and you know, they've got the shimmering going on, the twinkling going on, and the highs and the lows and all that kind of stuff, this pretty much sounded exactly the same. I couldn't tell any difference. So it's okay for something budgety. But you know, in my honest opinion, if you suddenly got a really expensive amplifier or something like that, you won't be touching this with a barge pole. You'd be going out buying, like I say, maybe 100, 200 pounds or something like that for a decent all metal, nice big, you know, connections at the back, solid connections, speaker select switch box. But for us on this channel, it's probably going to be all right. And someone like you is just going to set up an amplifier, you know, a small budget amplifier, saying a set of speakers in one room, another set of speakers in another room, or something like that. Or if you've got a massive room, one end of the room and the other end of the room, you just want to, you know, select one from the other, or connect up a couple of amplifiers, then just swap about between the two amplifiers with one set or two sets of speakers. This is going to be okay, you know what I mean, it's going to be okay. How long it's going to last, I don't know. These switches don't seem too bad, but one good thing is that you can take this apart. If they did get a bit noisy, they're quite easy to get to, and I should imagine they're fairly easy to clean if they did get a bit of static or anything like that on them. So that's it, it's okay, you know what I mean, it ain't too bad for what it is. So that's that little review of this speaker select switch box. I'll say thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.